safe space is a place where Black men learn, heal, thrive, and value the freedom to be. A safe space allows Black men to color outside the lines without judgment, stigmas, biases, or boundaries. A safe space is a place where our Black voices impacts and counts. And here are your hosts, Ty Baker Jr. and Dax Addy.
All right, we are back. Safe space. We're in a different little format this time, but I got my brothers here, Dax, Will, PG. This is our Father's Day special, and we got some great guests on this, Dax. What are we doing today?
Hey man, you know what? Father's Day is coming up, and guess what, man? It's that time of the year where you get to take out your wallet and be told, first of all, thank you for being a great father. Where are we going for dinner? And we appreciate you, and I hope you pick up the bill. So,
That sounds about right.
it sound about right?
Yeah.
Spoken like somebody with no
Right.
kids.
I got heat for y'all today. I ain't there yet, but hey, I'm going to enjoy my time until I got to do this time. So today, man, we're all kind of getting together to talk about this thing, what it is today, you know what I'm saying, to be a father. We know there's a lot of trials and tribulations, but a lot of goods, a lot of bads, you know, but I just been blessed, you know, to kind of have people around me like you guys, friends, you know, who can show me what it is that next step in my life would be like, you know, and I can ask questions. Obviously, in a lot of our old episodes, you remember, Todd, we talked about mentors and people who've been there before you, you know, position yourself to where you can ask questions, you know. So today might be that day for me where y'all counsel me on a lot of stuff. But most importantly, man, we want to talk about, you know, what it is to be a father in today's society, some of the things that you guys go through. So it's y'all's moment to vent before y'all got to pay some stuff this coming weekend. So you can get it all off your chest. I'll listen. So let's go ahead and get it started, man. Ty and I were talking about this. We talked about this throughout the week. Will and I talked about this as well. But I have one question for y'all, just straight up. I'm just gonna get into the meat of it, right? Just what is it today like? Like, what is it like being a father today in today's society? Like, what is it like? What would be the best way to describe that? Anybody can take it.
PG, I'm gonna let you take that one first.
Well, and unpack that for me when you say in today's society, being a father. What do you mean? Like taking care of them? Unpack it so I can make sure I answer the question directly.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how hard is it to be a father today?
It's not hard at all. In my opinion, well, first of all, let me start here. All my kids are grown now. My baby boy, he'll be 19 this month. And then my oldest, he'll be 31. So our oldest is 31, my middle will be 23.
So you said no, you said them out.
Yeah. So everybody grown, and only one at home right now is our baby boy. So I'm good in this season. It's amazing. It's like it's a 10.
Oh, yeah, I can't wait to get there. You know what I'm
saying? But being a father is one of the best things you could ever. It's like one of the best gifts God could ever give you, in my opinion, because you actually get to mold somebody to be the way you want them to be, even though my kids ain't nowhere near what I want them to be. They did nothing I want them to do, but they are like, I was telling my wife the other day, I said, I forgot how much I miss carrying them and hearing them call my name, like daddy, daddy, mama, mama, daddy, daddy. They don't do that no more. They don't even go eat with us no more. Like they're doing lives, you know, themselves. But to watch them, to go back and watch videos, to go back and remember times of having to chastise or having to show up at school. I remember one time my middle son, a clown or something they had a breakout at school. Like they was like, this clown is up here at the school harassing the kids like he's gonna do something to him. So he literally called home like, Dad, it's a clown. He like in the 10th grade. Dad, there's a clown up here and he's got a bat and doing stuff to people, man. I'm scared. So I get me and his uncles and we go up to the school like, oh, we might go be acting fool. But my point is I was able to do that because that's what my dad did for me. Like if I was like, yo, Dad, They're bagging the food. He come up there with his gun, like, what they doing? You know, so just being able to do that, and Will, you could take it over, you know, anytime you want. But it's fun to me being a dad. Being a dad, like one of the best gifts God can give to you. You know what I mean? And hopefully they won't put me in an old folks home and they still take care of me.
Nah, you know, I couldn't agree with you more, man. I think that being a father first and foremost is probably the most fulfilling thing that a man can ever do or have the opportunity to do. I'm a little different in terms of my age group for kids. So I have a 24-year-old, but also have an 18-month-old. So I have twin daughters also that are 14. So I can tell you that on a scale of 1 to 10, how difficult it is, it probably about an 8. You know what I mean? Only because I think that kids have way too much access now to things that we didn't have access to when we were growing up, right? So when we were growing up, you know, we went outside to go play. We were more active. You know, kids now got devices and, you know, they got access to the internet and even cartoons aren't even the same as what they were when we were growing up. You know what I'm saying? So what it forces you to do is have a lot of these uncomfortable conversations a lot sooner. You know what I mean? So like our parents weren't let me not speak for everybody, but my parents and their generation, most of them weren't the best communicators. It was more so do as I say, not as I do type things. And you just knew not to question what they did because that was just you know, that's what we were taught. You know what I mean? But now kids have they're so much smarter, so much more intelligent than I think we were, to where they're asking these questions that you got to be able, you can't live like do as I say, not as I do. You have to be able to communicate with children now in order for those lessons to resonate. You know what I mean? So on a scale of 1 to 10, for me, it's an 8, man. It's just because I'm concerned about just how much access they have. And you want to make sure that you're giving them all the tools and things like that necessary for them to be successful in life. And it's hard to feel like you covered everything because they just have access to so much. So I mean, from 1 to 10 for me, it's 8.
Yeah.
But and then Will, you got daughters, so that's a whole nother.
That's a whole nother. You understand what I'm saying? It's an 8, bro, and it's close to a 10. But it's an 8. You know?
He said his flare up at 10 every now and then.
Man, yes.
No, real talk, because I was telling my middle son, who's my problem. Remember I told y'all this before, he's my problem child. He's the one who talked to girls like they're crazy at times. So I was telling him the other day, talking to him, I said, yo, you need to watch how you talk to girls, because if they got a dad or uncle, if they find out how you talking to them, if she ever tells them something you said to them about her or to her that's out of control, if he pull up on you, because she can say I forgive you, but she forgot she told dad or uncle and them.
That's what you really have to do.
They ain't forgave you. You know what I'm saying? So it takes, actually, this is what it takes, Will. It takes for us to talk to each other, to our kids, like, yo, you need to talk to your sons. Well, I talk to my daughters and tell them, like, hey, watch how you talk. Absolutely. Watch how you da-da-da-da. Let's figure out how we do this together. Ty, we need to talk about the boys. Tell them, like, yo, make sure you're talking to them like this. If she ain't giving you what you need, or you ain't getting the conversation you need, walk away.
Yeah.
Don't call her no B. Don't tell her she's a hoe. Don't say so-and-so. Don't do that. Because if she go tell her daddy that, who you calling? What? Okay. Y'all done made up and they hold hands, but then daddy pull up on you, then we got a whole nother problem. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, right.
Because I ain't playing about mine. So
yeah. So I got a friend, my wife's pastor's son was killed because of his girlfriend. He was killed. Him and his girlfriend got into it. She went and told her brothers. They made up. The brothers didn't make up. Soon as they saw him on sight, shotgun right in the chest.
Yeah, that was it.
They didn't forget. They didn't forget.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that kind of stuff stays in my head, and I try to tell my kids, like, yo, be careful. But that's the only thing I will say this about parenting, is worrying that your kid, because of the society now, is that your kids really caught on to everything you gave them. Like, well, be careful.
Yeah.
You don't go over here. Know who not to hang with. Know who to be with. Don't deal with these people. That kind of stuff. That's my only real concern about my sons.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Ty, how you feel about that?
Man, I'm sitting here taking it all in. I'm the youngest one out of all of you guys talking, but I think I got the most kids.
You got
So
20, you got 20 kids over there, man.
you know,
You definitely need a sprinter.
I'm right there with Will. I have three inherited boys and two biological boys, so we have a mixed family. I have a 19-year-old, a 13-year-old, a 6-year-old going on 7, a 1-year-old, and a 6-month-old. So I'm hitting all ranges, you know,
Yeah.
and all five of them are mama's boys, So I got my two little ones that are extremely attached to mom, and then I got my three middle ones that are just extremely attached to mom. So it's hard. I'm not going to lie. Especially when you have uh, a young adult in the house that you're trying to guide and teach that has access to Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, interested in women already. So it's hard. I'm not going to lie. And I heard PG said it is the most fulfilling thing in the world. I love having my boys. I love teaching them. I love being with them. You know, um, my oldest calls me a dork all the time, because I like to be that goofy dad. I like to go and have a dance crazy, play football with them, but at the same time, watching them grow is very scary, especially being a black man. And like PG saying, if my son is talking to a woman a crazy way, what's going to happen to if their family was come and find out? So it's a huge learning process because I went from being single to a dad overnight, and then a dad overnight to having two little ones over the course of 2 years. So everything flooded in all at once, which is a beautiful blessing, but I'm still learning. You know, I told my wife the other day, I said, "You're always going to be ahead of the curve in this." I said, "You got 19 years ahead of me in this." So for me, I got 2 years in the game, 3 years in the game. So for me, I feel like I'm still got my training wheels on, trying to figure out. I told you, but I think we talked about this before, Dax, how to be uh, not just a cool dad, but also a dad that's leading and guiding them as well.
Yeah, that which is funny you say that because that leads me to my next question. Y'all saying how hard it is. How important is it to like just be present too? And just asking that question, on a scale of 1 to 10 or whatever you want to kind of chime in with that. How important is it to be a present parent? I feel like today, a lot of people don't look at that, but I'm just asking you guys, like, how important is it to be a present parent?
Oh, to me, I mean, that's the only way that you can really be or have or build those bonds with your children is by being involved, man. Like I take fatherhood just as seriously as I feel like mothers take motherhood.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Like I don't feel like, mothers should be here as a parent and fathers should be looked at here. I think both relationships are equally important. You know what I mean? For every kid that that doesn't have a mother, I can show you another one that doesn't have a father who struggles the same way. You know what I mean? So if you don't look at it that way, and if you don't tack it with the same fervor, man, your children are gonna struggle, man, and you're doing a disservice to them.
Yeah, I agree with you. My dad was super present in our lives, and that's super important to me. But I'll be honest with you guys, I feel like that's where I fall short at. Um, Not in a sense of like I don't call them or reach out, but I'm always gone for work. So my wife is at home taking on that load of making sure the kids are for school, making sure they're going to their doctor's appointment, making sure that they're getting taken care of. And my oldest said something to me the other day. We were talking when I was at home. Um, I was like, "How do you feel?" I forgot exactly how the conversation went, but it went on the lines. I was asking him, "How does he feel about me being gone all the time for work?" And he was like, "It's not fun." He was like, "I'm used to it." He was like, "But I feel bad for the little ones because they don't have their dad here all the time to see them interact with him." And he's like, "I'm taking on that role as a father figure for them in a sense." He's like, "They know that you're dad, but you're not physically here to hang out with them every single day." And that hit me hard. You know, Granted, in a sense, we work in the film industry, so we got to go where work takes us. Um, but I'm like, for me, especially, with these being um, my babies, I want to be there for every single step of the way. And I love seeing Big Will. Like, I'll be looking at his Instagram, his baby girls with him every single day. And I love that.
PG, you got to see it.
Uh,
he be in the water swimming with the baby, kiss him, everything, boy. It'd be like watching like the Discovery Channel. It'd be like, come on now.
That's dope.
I literally was looking at it before we jumped
Yeah.
on. That's what we were talking about earlier.
It's
Like,
something to
I
watch.
love
It's
seeing
something
that.
to watch.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
that's something I'm striving and trying hard to be, not just mentally present, but physically present there for them, because I think that's important for a young man to see their dad involved in their brothers and sisters' lives, and for them to see their dad around their mom, so they can show
Yeah.
so that man can show them how to treat a woman.
Yeah.
For sure.
Well, I also think that being present is not having to be with them every single day. Just long as they know, like, dad is in it. Okay, I've been married now 24 years, and my 2 sons have been in the house the entire time. But my oldest, who we had before we were married, we had him. We were teens, and we had him, and he lived with my mother-in-law for the first 9 years, well, 12 years, and then he came and lived with us after a while. You can still be a present father and not see him every day. Like me, I was present even with my oldest, who I didn't live with. I was still present. I would be on, whether it's on a call or coming to the house every day, stopping by. If I was there, like, hey, he needs this. What do you need? I'm gonna take him to Dairy Queen. Boom. And if I couldn't be there every day, like you right now, Ty, you can't be there every day, because if we impart into them, because the crazy thing is, Bible says a man don't work, don't eat. Right? So you live a lavish lifestyle. You drive a truck you probably paying $2,000 a month for that
Come
truck.
on
That's a
now.
fancy truck, right? It don't get paid if you don't go work, right? But if
Ty, allegedly.
right. But
it's up there.
Even if we carving out time during the day, because I know you do this, and I don't even talk to you every day. I know you do this. Calling your boys in the morning, say, "Oh, let me see my babies. Hey, daddy here, daddy here." Because what if you were in the military?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But being present, you can still be present, because there are dads who are in the house and not present.
Without question.
That's good.
In the house. And married 24 years, and say, hey, dad ain't never been present. He don't even talk to me. He ain't never said nothing to me. He walked past and see him every day.
Oh, wow.
So you can be in Miami, Florida, and still your family be here and say, all right, I need everybody on FaceTime. I need to see y'all. All right, let's do this. Blah, 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 blah. Whatever y'all talk about. Did you clean your room? Did you do your homework? All right, throw your hands up. Daddy, throw your hands up. And you still can be present, because that'll be memories. That'll be memories that you built with them. Because what we do before even now, I'm doing music is what I do. I travel a heap load. So I'll be somewhere in Malaysia, Dubai, over here. And I'm like, hey, for my babies, let me see my babies. My boys, daddy babies, hey. I do that all day. And the memories that we have built, even I went back and watched videos the other day. I was like, yo, this is crazy. And taking them to Ellen DeGeneres show, take them to the studio with me when I'm working with so-and-so. Like I got them sitting on so-and-so lap. I'm on tour with so-and-so. They on the tour bus. Pictures of all that stuff. And Ty, I've watched you do that with your kids, taking them to Miami. You got them on set. Those are memories that they would never forget.
Yeah,
absolutely. Even though I can be there every day, but the reason they can click them lights on, I'm still old school with this. With my daddy, I understood my daddy had to go, because the light, I couldn't get Christmas. I couldn't get birthday if he didn't go.
Yeah.
The memories come in family trips. You got to make sure you carve out time for the family trips. The problem is when we don't carve out time for our families and don't stop for a minute. If you never stop, that's when it becomes a problem.
Which leads me.
If you never stop and say, you know what? All right, I've been working for 3 months. I was gone for 3 months, but I'm about to take 2 weeks, and it's all about y'all. That's presence, in my opinion.
Yep, I was gonna say that too, Ty. I wouldn't beat myself up too much about that, because just like G said, I was in the military 10 years, but I had my son when I was 19. So, you got to find those ways to create those memories. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was in Hawaii, bro. I had to buy 3 round trip tickets just to make sure that, we saw each other. Like, but those are the things that you do, you know what I mean? And so I wouldn't beat myself up too much about it, but you do have the opportunity, like you said, by FaceTime and things of that nature, just creating moments with them, because that's what they're going to remember more than anything.
Is it hard to create time, though? Like, you see what I'm saying? Like, I know that we have such busy lives at a certain point, And, you know, like we talk about time, any of us here at some point in time in our life, it gets really busy, really hectic. Like as a father, you know what I'm saying? Like, is it really hard, you know, to achieve that when you can see that in your kids? Like, man, I need to spend time with my kids. I need to do certain things, you know, with my kids. Is it hard to create time with our lives as men at this point? We're considered grown men.
I mean, I think that's all relative. In my opinion, so there's a saying. I know y'all probably seen it before. Is be the change that you want to see in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I kind of lived by that, right? Like I didn't grow up. My father was incarcerated most of my life. My mom was addicted to alcohol, so I didn't have the best role models or I guess people in my life to show me how to be a good parent. I just knew what I didn't want to be. You know what I'm saying? I knew what I wanted to be for my children. So that's all. That was my point of reference in my mind. What I wish my parents were for me. That's what I tried to be to my children.
Wow,
So is it hard to be there? I mean, I'm sure it's hard sometimes. You know what I mean? If you're obligated to do other things, but you're gonna always make time for the things that are important to you. That's what I feel. And your children, if your children are that important to you, you're gonna find the time to create those moments and be there. And a lot of that, to me, in my opinion, is about communication.
Yeah.
Talking to them when they get old enough, explaining to them like what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Like I think a lot of times we take for granted how much children understand, and so we feel like, oh, we can't talk to them about this because they may not be old enough to understand it. But they may be old enough to understand it, right? So it's just about having those conversations, and sometimes they remember them, sometimes they don't. But it's the consistency, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I mean it's hard sometimes, but I mean we got to do what we got to do.
Yeah, no, I agree. When I'm home, it's mommy daddy time. Like I make it a point to make sure my baby is taken out, treat her, and I make sure there's time to spend with the boys as well. Last week when I was home, we went to the park, played football, got ice cream, took them out, made sure I spent quality time with them because they need to see that. It can't just be work, 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 and then you get a little bit of dad's time. I turned my phone off, didn't hang out with anybody, didn't see anybody. And I know a lot of times my friends don't understand that because they're like, "You're in town? Let's hang out. Let's do this." No, I want to spend quality time with them to make sure that they understand. Like, I'm not just working hard for myself. I'm working hard to make sure that providing for you guys, and when I'm home, you guys are gonna get this quality time with us.
It's good. That's good.
PG, you feel the same way about that? Is it like because and the reason why I ask this question is because different jobs, different situations, qualify you in different ways. Obviously we can say, hey man, I make time. But hey, if you needed 12 hours at a job, you know what I'm saying, and you 2 hours away, hey, that's 16 hours out of what I'm saying, out of your day that's gone. So by the time you get home, you're at the last hours. I had my brother say this to me today. He said, look, there was a point in time, as a father where I only saw my kids when like I was telling them the disciplinary aspects of things. Sit down,
Yep.
don't run, this and that,
Yep.
and this. So
Yep.
the unfortunate situation is that I didn't want to be known as that person to my kids. So I had to tell my wife, we had to partner up. I was like, hey, you got to discipline them a little bit, So when I get home, we got to give them some laneway because they're going to go crazy. That's a guarantee. So that's why I was asking the question, when you get into these situations, when life throws you these hours, when life throws you all these things that you have to do, is it important to spend time, and how do you make time for your kids, at those times? What do you do to fight that?
Yeah, I think carving out time to spend with them is one of the most important things you can do. And I think Will hit it best when he said they'll think about it. When you said they'll think about it, they'll remember those things. And then also you said, wait a minute, something you said that I really wanted to, because it was really, really good. They'll remember the time when you have the time and talk to them. Communication was what you said. You said communication, because when when your kids know what you do, like, Dad, this is what I do. When they go on set with me somewhere or have been with me at a concert and doing this, they know, oh, this is what Dad does. This is what he got to do. So, all right, so Dad got to go, but tomorrow we're gonna go take you buy you some shoes, or tomorrow we're gonna get up. We're gonna do breakfast. I'm gonna walk you to school. I'm gonna I'll be there to pick you up on time. I won't be able to do it Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, but Monday I'll be there first thing to do so and so. Dad, I need this. All right, only way I can get you that, I got to go do so and so, because you need so and so. I got to go do so and so you can have that. they'll understand. And as they get older, like you said, communication. I think the best thing is the older they get, the better you can bond. Like me and little Gerald, we bond better now. I'd be like, hey, let's roll. He'll roll with me. Like our relationship. Now my oldest son and my baby boy, they don't want to go nowhere with me. They be like, nah, I'm good. They're mama's boys. They be like, we go mama. Where's she going? We ride with her. But me, I'm like, hey, I want to go. Come go with me. Because they see me like he about to go pay bills. He about to go pay bills. He about to go sit over there and do so-and-so for 3 hours. Like, I'm the guy who can go. I can come over there. If I can drive I got a little 86 Mercedes. Ain't got no air. I'll get in it and ride. They be like, it ain't no air in this thing. He just chilling. I'm like, y'all good? Like, y'all good? They be like, we good on him. We catch you when you get back. You know? But carving out that time is the most amazing thing you could do, you know, and building a relationship that the foundation is strong. That the foundation is strong. If the foundation ain't strong, that's where the problem come in. We're like, yo, I asked my oldest son, real talk. I said to him, I said, when I get old, are you gonna keep me? Are you gonna take care of me? Or are you gonna put me? He said, I might put you in a home. I said, really? He was joking. He said, I was joking. He said, but there's a little seriousness to it.
There's always a little seriousness.
He said, yeah. He said, there's a little serious to it. He said, because the way we communicate. And I come from a very harsh, like, hey, do that. What are y'all doing? Don't do that. Move over there. Hey, your room ain't clean. You ain't going over. Like, I'm very, I come from a family of, So it's like, oh man, like everything is that. Now I'm 30 and he's still, like the other day I had to go, my oldest son, who will be 31 in September, right? He calls his mom. His mom called me. I need you to run. Austin is stuck. His car stopped on the freeway. I'm like, huh? I said, he told me he got it. He ain't got it. I have to go and treat him like a 15-year-old. So I pull up. His car's parked in the middle of the freeway, right? Middle freeway. So I'm like, yeah, this is bad. So she told me, get out the car and get over on the side of the road in case people just come, So I had one of the homies with me. I said, all right, this is what we're going to do, Dave. We're going to whip this thing. I'm going to put the hazards on. I'm going to jump out. Austin jump in the car. We're going to push it. So I had a whole plan together. But my oldest, he's an introvert. He moves. Everything is slow. He don't know how important this moment is in the movement. And I come from like, we move. So I'm like, Austin, this is what we're going to do. I'm about to call you. So I called him. I said, I need you to run across, jump in the car, put it in drive, in neutral. We're going to jump out, whip the corner. I gave him the whole play. My man walks like a turtle. We whip the corner, get out the car. Come on, Austin. This is my exact tone. Come on, move. Dad, can you really move? I'm like, you got to be a soldier now. He gets in the car like, Dad, you're hollering at me. I got to put his leg in. I'm like, we're in the middle of the street where cars is doing like this. Mm-hmm. 4 lanes over here, 4 lanes, everybody moving. I'm like, and I'm trying to stop traffic. He really got upset. And I tried to explain to him after we got the car off the side of the road. I said, Austin, we were in a place where you could have lived. I could have got killed trying to save you. I could die. Literally, me and my homie, Dave, we could be dead trying to help you. He's like, it's just you were hollering at me. I said, you know how I am. I came to the rescue. That's the first thing. Is your car still in the middle of the street? Is it still in the middle of the street? He said, no. I said, all right, you good? You got your insurance? He's still over there like, I just don't know what to do. I said, you need my help? I'm gonna try to figure it out. And I'm like, he's 30, but he's technically
you better
like
than me.
18.
I'm like, hey, bro,
my son the same way, dog. I swear, he the same way. I'm like, man, what's wrong with you? Bro, he the same
I feel
way,
like
bro.
you want to say what you want to say, but you can't.
Bro, my oldest son just sent his cousin like $500 in jail the other day.
Why?
And he called his mom and told her, yeah, so I ain't gonna say his name because one of my cousins looked at it. He says, cousin so-and-so, I sent him his birthday come up, he asked for some money, I sent him $500. I looked at it, I said, did that Negro just say he sent $500? dumb. I said, dog, the dummy. I said, Tammy, tell him, because I always been this, that's how I come up. I'm like, don't do that. Send him $50 if you're gonna send him, but don't send him $500. And then his cousin gets out in 3 months. My son is the type, like, you can come stay at my apartment, you can drive my car. I said, no, you don't do that. but then he feel like I'm running his life. Like, I got it figured out. Like, even when he moved into his apartment, I say, yo, did you cut your cable on? Because he works from home. He's a tech. So he's high six figures. He like up there. He got make a little change, and was only only paying us $500 a month. That's all I made him pay. But he making good money. And I was like, just put $500 towards the house. My man is moving. He has to have internet. What's the first thing you get when you move? When you get your keys, what would be the first thing you do, fellas, when y'all get your keys to your apartment? If you know you work from home and you got 4 days, what's the first thing you do?
Turn all your utilities on.
Yeah.
Cut your internet. I need to call internet, call my lights.
Yeah.
Boom. 4 days in, I'm like, yo, you got your lights and your internet? I'm going to do it today. I said, today? It's Friday. You know the phone company or the internet people going to say, hey, we can't come till next Thursday.
Yep.
Your living is with your computer. That's how you make your money.
He was living with you?
Yeah, he was living with us.
Yeah, that's the problem. My son living with me right now. He gonna go through the same thing, bro.
And he said, Dad, I got it. I said, all right.
No sense of urgency. Take for granted all these things that we gotta pay for, bro. That's him to a T. He gonna do the same thing. Swear to God. What he gonna buy though is some food. It's gonna be some food in the refrigerator. He's gonna have no internet. You know what I'm saying?
Big Will,
over there with no heat. Like, oh yeah, I'm gonna cut it off.
So, let me ask you this, Big Will. Do you feel like that's this generation? Because I know when I was coming up, man, none of that would. My dad, if you ain't working, you ain't paying no bill in the house, you got to go.
Man, I think it goes back to what we was talking about on the episode that we did before, right? Like, I think a lot of times as parents, man, we try to make sure our children don't go through the things we went through, but what we do is we rob them of perspective. You know what I'm saying? Like when we do all these things for them, like now it's almost a sense of entitlement. You know what I mean? Like they don't know how to do nothing because we're in there. You know what I'm saying? To save the day. Like we putting them in the house so until they get they credit scores good and save good money and all this other stuff to where they don't even understand how to turn on some electricity or call for the internet. So I don't know if it's a generation.
They never
thing.
called Georgia Power before.
Yeah, man, it's just a catch-22 when you're trying to parent these children, bro. Like we don't want them to grow up as hard as we grew up, but again, I think when we do that, it robs them of perspective because now they have nothing to. They don't know how to do these things, and we kind of take that for granted as well, you know, because we looking at them like, man, what's wrong with you?
That was my
You know
question though. Like, where do you think a lot of fathers and parents go wrong today? Why you scratching your head, bro?
I would say listen to our wives a whole lot. Our wives make us make soft men, in my opinion. I shouldn't say this out loud. Because I got soft boys over here.
I know y'all are speaking from the perspective of having both parents in the same house, right? Mm-hmm. When you co-parent, bro, that's the hardest thing in the world. Because if you don't get along with mom, now she's doing things just to spite you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And you could absolutely have, I say this all the time, my son's mother did a great job raising him, but she couldn't teach him how to be a man. He had to come here for that. You know what I'm saying? And so it's difficult when you're trying to impart like what you think he should be doing. But to your point, PG, mom's just like, oh, I ain't making my boy do that, or oh, you just being too hard on him. But now you see when he's 24 and don't know how to do nothing out here, it's like, that's where that comes from. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's work ethic, bro. These are all the things that I had to learn how to do. Right. I'm trying to instill that in him because I don't want my son. I want my son to use me and use his resources as a last resort, not a first option. You know what I'm saying? And it's different. Like, that's what I come from. Yeah. You know what I mean, I had to navigate through life since I was 16 by myself. Just had to figure it out. So I made a lot of mistakes in life. But but you learn the most from your failures. And that's what I keep trying to teach him. Like I'm doing everything for you now so that you aren't afraid to jump out there and do these things. If you fail, so what? You're here. You know what I mean? You can get back up. You young. You can figure it out. But don't be afraid to take those leaps. You know what I'm saying? So I don't, man, it's difficult, bro. I don't know no other way to put it. When you co-parenting, it's hard, bro. Like super hard. So you either gotta wait till they're 18 and they kind of seeking that relationship with you so that you can kind of impart like your experience on them, or you kind of just gotta concede sometimes. You know what I'm saying? And you do it, and that's the unfortunate part of all this. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, the kids are the ones that suffer when both parents aren't on the same page. You know what I'm saying?
True.
So,
and you could be married. You could be totally married 24
years
and still don't be on the same page. Because I'm like, yo, let him bump his head. He got a ball. No, don't let him. I'll just do it. I'll carry him. Like, no, let him bump his head because he have to. Let him do this. My wife still to today, if they don't answer the phone within 2 rings, she on Life 360. There they go. Oh, but he ain't answer the phone. I say they be fine. They'll be fine. It'll be okay. You know what I'm saying? I think the thing that goes wrong, to answer your question too on this one, Dax, is that what I could have done better, or I feel like I could, even today, I think it goes back to what Will said, communicating with our kids and not be like being harsh, but also being loving and making sure you have that balance, trying to find that sweet spot. And the truth is, our children, if you ever sit and talk to your kids, because this is one thing my parents never did with me. They never sat us down and say, how do you see me? How do you view me? What do you think I should? What could I have done
Because
better?
if I had said you crazy, I would have gotten beat up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I think that's where Ty and them and Will now, because they're with this generation still having some old school, but then say, hey, tell me your thoughts. What could I have done better? What can I have better? How can I done this better? Because one thing my dad told me when I called him one day and I said, I was abused as a child. He said, what? I said, man, my wife just made me think about it. Man, I was abused. Stitching cords, whoopings, just y'all hands way big. Like, come on, man. Imagine my hand on the side of the legend's face. You know what I'm saying? That's too
That's
big.
the equivalent.
Yeah, it's like.
Hey,
and
legend ain't gonna let you.
My dad said
that close.
Right. My dad said one thing to me though that was amazing. He said, Gerald, all I did was raise y'all the way I was raised. He said, I never been to jail. I didn't club. I didn't do the streets. I never smoked, drank, none of that. He said, and look at me today. I said, but you had women problem, didn't you? He said, yeah. I said, you still had a problem. But I respected the fact that he said, I only raised y'all the way my parents raised me, and it helped me be the man I am. So in that, it helped me. So now when I talk to my boys, I'm like, hey, I asked my boys one day, I said, rate me as a father from 1 to 10. Did the good outweigh the bad? All of them said the good outweighed the bad. I said, that's all I need to hear. So, and all I'm asking y'all to do, to my boys, I said, all I'm asking you to do is when y'all have kids, take what I did, modify it, take what you like. I didn't beat my kids, but what I did do was, for example, if they did something, I'm like, how many licks you think this take? Man, they say 2. I said, I'm gonna give you 5. Just lay across the thing and let's take this like a champ. I ain't about to chase you around the house and take your clothes off and beat you. You're gonna take this like a champ. They take it, we move to the next thing. Keep it moving.
Man, PG, you know what? Real quick, was interesting to me, man, is that man, fathers aren't afforded any grace, bro.
It's true.
No grace. Moms are afforded all the grace. If a father misses something, if they can't pay for something for whatever reason, and I don't know if it's like a societal thing, but kids hold on to it when pops can't do it. When pops can't do it, kids hold on. When mom can't do it, she tried her best.
Yeah.
She was busy. That's crazy, bro. That makes my teeth itch, bro. I hate it.
I think it's because we're looked at as Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
But
we gotta stop that though, PG. We gotta stop it.
I know. I'm with you on that. But we looked at it as Superman, and when you looked at it as Superman, it looked like you can do no wrong. Like
Yeah.
you gonna
Ain't,
always
ain't that
show up.
the
You gonna
thing
always
though?
come.
Especially whenever you already doing it, everything already.
Yeah,
Exactly. So that
yeah,
Superman theory can be for you and against you.
yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Hey, that's why I'm honest with my kids though. When I feel like they do something that hurt my feelings, or if they do something where I feel like they didn't consider me or consider how I may feel about something, man, we had those
Oh, okay.
conversations.
That's
You know what I'm
dope.
saying? Because I need them to know I'm
Correct.
human.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm your dad. Yeah, I make stuff happen, but I'm human though.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And these things affect me too. I
Right.
want y'all to treat me the same way y'all treat y'all mama. Keep me in respect my feelings the way y'all respect hers. You know what I'm saying?
right,
That's
right,
all I'm saying.
right.
That's real. That's real though. I had to tell my wife this about a month ago. I said the boys respect you more than they respect me, because if something goes wrong, you may get onto them, but at the end of the day, it's okay, baby. Come on, I still love you. But when dad is getting into them, oh, dad is being mean to me right now. Dad ain't being mean. We just putting the law down.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So I said,
Do dad, the thing is, Ty, do dad go back and say, hey,
Yeah.
I didn't want to have to, woo, 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 but I
Yep.
had to get on you like that.
yeah,
That's one of the things I didn't see growing up. If you got a whooping, go to your room. And then
Yep.
later on, like, all right, let's go. I'm gonna take you to get some ice cream. That was his way of saying, I'm sorry, or I didn't want to do that. With me, with my kids, if I whooped them, and when I was done, I said, come here, stand here. I didn't want to have to do that. I said, I don't like doing it because woo, woo, woo. And then two, my wife had to, because my wife never got whoopings. And then you got to remember, with women are a whole nother breed.
mhm,
They're nurturers by nature. So it's a love. Even when they're chastising, it's still a love thing. It's some kind of way. There's still some kind of way they exude love. Still, when we're chastising, it's like we don't exude love in the moment, even though it's our mother. It's like, Dad, you don't love me no more. Yes, I do, but I'm loving you different than Mama. Mama go,
yeah,
come here, let me kiss your head after you done popped you. No, I ain't kiss your head after you pop you. Get up, go somewhere, take that. But what I did start doing is say, yo, come here. I didn't want to do that. All right, I love you, right? I love you. Come here. So now, even with my kids now, everybody grown, we don't get off the phone without saying I love you. Hey, I love you, Dad. Love you, Gerald. Love you, Blair. Love you, Austin. Hey, love y'all. We don't do it. Only time they don't say they love me is when they angry. If they mad, I'm like, oh, he big mad because he ain't say he love. That's
yeah,
how I know they are mad about something.
right,
If I say I love you, they're like, okay. I say, oh, he big mad.
yeah.
Big
Nah, PG,
My, my,
that's a great point, man. I was gonna say that to Ty too. Like, is after you have to discipline them, I think the important thing is to come back around and let them know. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like, one, make sure they understand what they were disciplined
Right.
for.
mad.
But
Absolutely.
two, just make sure you reinforce that. Listen, I love you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I
mhm,
love you. Give them a hug, kisses, all that. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
I do all of that with my children. Even
yeah,
even
sure.
my son, when I'm on him, when
Yeah,
I feel like I went too hard on him, and he's 24. But when I feel like I went too hard on him, I'll call him, hey, bro, I apologize. You just pissed me off a little bit too crazy right there. You know what I'm saying? But I love you. He like, nah, dad, I get it. You know what I'm saying? And we right back straight. But it's that nurturing part that I think more men have to learn how to do with
That
their
was my
children.
question
You know
mhm,
right
what I mean?
there.
You got to be able to connect with them from an emotional standpoint. And I think a lot of times when we be on their ass, like
That was
yeah,
they like this,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Because we don't come back around to give them the nurturing part.
yeah.
is
right.
that
That's the part
important,
I'm
Ty?
learning. 'Cause
No, like
no, it is. It is because I just PG. You hit the nail on the coffin. Literally right before I left, Denim came up to me, and no, Keisha came to me, and she was like, "Denim said he don't like you," and I was like, "Huh?" So I went. I said, we have real open." I said, "Why don't you like me?" He said, "Because sometimes you're mean to me," and I said, "But I do the same thing that mom does to you." And he goes, "Yeah, but mom is always nice to me afterwards." And she was like, "I told you, you got to start showing love after you discipline them. When you take something away or you give them a spanking, show them love." And I'm just like, "Yeah, yeah, whatever." She goes, "I'm telling you, you don't show them love. He's going to remember that. He may be young right now, but he's going to remember dad didn't show me love after he disciplined me compared to where mom disciplined me and then showed me love." So it is important. It is something that I'm trying to work on because growing up, I'm just going off the base of what happened to me. You did
Yeah,
something wrong, go to your room, you're in trouble.
yeah,
Ain't no hugging, ain't no, all right, you're okay. I love you still. And to this day, my parents still don't say I love you when we hang up. That's just not how they were
right.
raised,
wow, yeah,
So I can, you know, name off the top of my hands the amount of times my parents said I love you growing up. You get disciplined, go to your room, you in trouble, cool. So that's just how I work because it's like that's how I was raised. But thank God I have a wife that's like, you need to start showing them love. So it's it
And
most
Man, that's
definitely
interesting, man. Because I didn't even feel, I didn't feel important growing up. I didn't feel loved. I didn't feel wanted. You know what I'm saying? Like I grew up in a super abusive environment, man. I mean, the dude my mama was with was my cousin's dad, and so he used to like put his hands on me and all kind of crazy stuff. And mama would just
Oh,
let him
wow.
do it. You know what I'm saying? My mama wasn't a real, she was always, drinking and stuff like that. So again, I didn't grow up with all that, but I think what that made me do is be overly loving to my children. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I know what it feels like to not have parents who really cared. You know what I'm saying? So I want my children to know that they're most important to me. You know what I'm saying? Like before anything. So I'm always leading with love when it comes to them and with my wife. You know what I'm saying? Because I think it's important for them to see that interaction as well. You know
Let
what I'm
me
saying?
let me ask y'all this
I feel
question. I've heard this question happen before. Just kind of to piggyback on that. Some guys have said this, and this is kind of adding another variable into it. They said, "I love my kids more than my wife," or "I love my wife more than my kids." If something was to happen, there's some people have more love for their kids than their wives, or their partners. Is that that's a deep, deep place, right? But it happens as do you think that just happens as a result of a bad relationship, or should it always be like I have a love for the whole thing? If something was to happen, I pick my kids over my wife. I've heard that before.
Nah, that's let me tell you, that's something that you may think, but you should never
Okay.
say.
absolutely.
Not hey man, this is a
You know
safe
what I'm
space.
saying?
I heard this.
You might feel the way, but you should
I've
never
heard
say
people
it.
say
You
this.
know what I'm
Now
saying?
when you go to court and you go and you be like, listen, man, you touched my kid.
Hey, hold on. You didn't see PG's eyes when you asked that question?
Hey. I'm gonna ask the question now. The reason why I asked the question, let me just put
Well,
it
that's
in a
good. That's
more
a good
formal
question.
way, right? Is that
No, that was good.
sometimes
You answered it good.
sometimes
Asked good.
people create a very, very like strong bond to their kids, and they completely leave the other half of their relationship in the family dynamic. Okay, we're talking so heavy about kids right now that we're forgetting that there's a wife at home, you know, who's going through some of the same partnership and struggles you may be going through from another perspective, right? And sometimes that may be interpreted in a different way or whatever, if the relationship is not as strong going into this bond and having kids, sometimes that may be the outcome of thinking. People put their kids before their partnership. So my question, going back to it, is that and which is piggybacking off the first thing, is that how important is it to kind of create a balance in the home, as a father, where you're spending time with your kids and you're spending time with your wife, because obviously you're the last backbone of everything.
Well, let me say this. I love everybody, my kids and my wife the same equally, but at times I have loved my kids more. And let me tell you when they were first born. I remember my son, one of my baby. He was Blair. Was it Blair? Yeah, Blair. He was in ICU. Like they was like declaring him dead. I'm over there with him. Forget her. I'm like, forget her. And I have told my wife before when it was baby, I said, I don't play all that postpartum stuff. I said, if you toss one of my kids, I'm tossing you. If you hit one of my kids, I'm hitting you. Because they can't defend themselves. I love this my seed. There have been times I love my kid more. But if you ask me that question now, I love my wife way more. F them kids, and that means forget them. F them kids.
That's
I
a
think
real answer,
I think
right?
it's a different kind of love too.
Yeah, it's a different kind of, when they were little and they couldn't defend themselves or couldn't, they will listen, these are my heartbeats.
Right.
My baby. Now these jokers are grown and they talk to me in the kind of way like, F them. It's me and your mama against the world. I was like, it's all right. There was a time. So I think at times, let me make sure I'm clear. At times, your love does
It
this, like
changes.
the kids or wife. But I love them equally. But at times, the love show. It's just like we'll all say, like, so and so is my favorite child.
Right.
You tell you like, man, it seem like so and so your favorite. Like, no, they're all equally my favorite. No, you got one that's your favorite. You just can't say it like Will said. Can't say some stuff out loud.
Yeah.
But it shows It shows.
Better not.
Yeah, it shows. And like when y'all moving, like my middle son, I would say if I had to say was my favorite, it would be him because he moved like me. Like I could call little Gerald like, hey, I'm about to call you and we about to do so and so. He'd be like, all right, what you want me to say? I said, I want you to be like, Dad, hey man, mama crazy. I'm like, he'd be like, all right, I'm gonna do it. My other two, I'm like, hey, say mama crazy. He's like, I'm not gonna talk about her like that. They're very educated. I'm not gonna talk to her, call her crazy. Mama's not crazy. I'm like, oh man, these guys.
Y'all got to take Uber.
I can see Gerald doing that too.
And I think these
Little
are the
Gerald
real
match
things.
my energy. The other two won't match my energy.
I think these are the real things,
Sometimes
you know.
I'm like, are these my kids? I'm like, are these my kids? They don't even, sometimes they won't match my energy.
Yeah.
But I love them. Everybody in my house that had lived, let me say they had lived in my house because two of them gone. I love them all the same.
Yeah.
But their mama, in this season of my life, their mama, I love them way more.
Oh yeah, without question.
Baby stages, I love my kids more.
What are 5 key factors that you have to have as a good dad?
5 key factors.
Anybody's
Sense of humor.
Okay.
Sense of humor.
And why?
A gun.
A gun.
Sense of humor because you want to be able to play with your kids. You want to be able to, Will's word, communicate with them. So you got to be able to, because everything can't be stuffy. And if everything is always stuffy, your kids are going to always be like, man, that's what makes them say dad is always mean, because if you don't play with them, if you don't have that sense of humor, like I was going to tell you this, Ty, this still adds to this. Like you should just call Denham tonight and say, let me talk to Denham. Get on the phone. Like, what up, Denham? What you doing? What you eat today? Did you play your game? Who won? That would make him feel, and don't talk to nobody else. Don't talk to none of the other kids. And they're like, you're my favorite. Don't tell the other kids. And this is one thing I always do. Each one of my kids, I say, you're my favorite. Don't tell your brother. Like, yeah, I know. All right, love you, man. And then I get on the phone with his brother, like, you're my favorite. Don't tell your brother. You know what I'm saying? And that's something they always remember. Like, Dad said I'm his favorite. And then when they could catch on, like, he told us all he his favorite.
Right.
But that part plays back into sense of humor. I say having a sense of humor where everything is not always serious, because what happens is if everything is always serious, like they're gonna always they will create a lens about you.
Oh wow.
There's a lens we all are looked through. Your wife got a lens she view you through. You have a lens you view your wife through. You have a lens you view your children, each one of your children through. You be like, he's a liar. He's a thief. He right there. You have a lens you see them through. And so the lens, you have to think of the lens they look at you through. So my mind is like, I don't want them to always look at me like, because I am always, Speaking of, because I'm answering your question, I haven't got that. We did counseling one time. Our oldest son wanted to do counseling when he was like 16, 15. And we went to do counseling, and the counselor said, draw a picture of the family, what the family looked like, with just pictures. And my son can draw really, really, he can draw all of us on here. Like, he's that good at drawing. He drew mom as I think she was what did he draw her as? A little bear. It was very cuddly. Then he drew his brothers, but then he drew me as it looked just like this. It looked just like that. And then he talked about what they were. And I said, got it. I got to be more. Let me bring it down just a little bit, because the lens he see me through is I'm a always disciplinarian, always. So, all right, let me calm down. Let me joke with him a little bit. Let me play with him a little bit. Let me give him some of this today. Today, try not to discipline, even though I need to go in here and say, sit down, don't put that down, don't do that. I'm like, nah, not today. Let me ease up today. Yeah. I'm gonna be easy. So sense of humor. Second, I would say, is a gun, because especially if you got girls, you gotta have some kind of, like, you gotta show them.
Will, that's right.
Just show them the handle. Let them see the handle like dad can pull up, because every kid wants to know that their dad will pull up for them.
Yeah.
No matter what.
That's true.
Come on,
I'm
man.
learning now. Come on.
Hey, and when you got boys, they'll think twice about playing with you.
Oh yeah, is that right? Ty, this is right too.
Hey, I got a lot of guns at home.
I'm telling you, you want your kids to fear you, like, yo, dad will bust me upside the head. He'll put his gun out. Like I tell them all the time, I pistol whip you. I ain't gonna shoot you, but I pistol whip you. And then two, they want to feel like if something went down in the neighborhood or somebody was bothering me, daddy's gonna be like, huh? Where they at?
Oh yeah.
Who?
Oh yeah. That's
I'm
that's that's
with
how
my
my
kids.
that's how my 19-year-old is. He knows where everything is hidden at. I said when I leave, I said you know what to do if something goes down. I go to the gun range with him. He knows how to load it, knows how to shoot it, and he knows when dad is gone, I'm gonna protect this house.
So protection.
You
Yeah.
know?
For
Yeah.
All
protection.
right.
In every aspect.
Y'all got 3 more.
You just gotta 3 more. Anybody else want to give one?
I don't know. I think 5 is a lot, bro. I would say kind of piggybacking off of what I said the last time we was on. One of the most important things that I learned in parenting is not to dismiss my children's experiences. Right. I think because I grew up so tough. With my son, I used to always be like, oh man, that ain't nothing. I had to go through X, Y, Z, right? But I think what that ended up doing for him was making him not want to talk to me about the things he was going through. You know what I'm saying? And so that was a big learning for me with my daughters. So I learned not to do that with them, and instead just, utilizing my experiences to help them through whatever it is that they're going through, instead of saying, oh, that's not nothing, or kind of just dismissing whatever it is that they're telling me about. Because I did have that bad with my son, but that was one of the biggest learnings I think that I made with or in parenting with my daughters. And I think that kind of made our relationship stronger anyway, because now they talk to me about whatever, you know what I mean? And we can have those conversations. So that's probably one of the biggest things I feel like we should have as parents, and that's being good listeners to our children.
I think that's
good. So an ear. So can we say that's number 3 is having an ear, a listening ear?
Yeah.
Listening ear.
I think that's powerful, Will. I have one as well I want to add to it, because we were riding in the car the other day, and my oldest had said something to Keisha and I, and we're like, well, how come you didn't tell us this? How come you didn't talk to us about it? And he was like, because my dad, every time I would try to talk to him about something, he would dismiss it. And so now he's got that wall up to where if something is going on, he doesn't feel like he can talk to us. But I said, well, we make it very open for you to talk to us. He said, no, you do. He said, that's just how I was treated by my dad growing up. So I think that's real important, especially as a black man. We talked about this before. You're told, don't cry, be tough, be strong, put those feelings aside, put it to the back. But most definitely don't dismiss them. Don't dismiss their feelings, their thoughts. Listen to them. And that goes into what my thing I feel like is important is being patient.
Patience.
There's going to be a lot of ups. There's going to be a lot of downs. And I've learned, especially with 5 boys, you've got to be patient with them.
That's good.
And guide them. They need guidance, especially in the world that we live in today, between the music, movies, girls, drugs, alcohol. Their attention goes to so many different areas, so I'm learning to just be patient with them.
That's good. So that
and you can't parent them all the same. You know what I mean? Like you could have like a set of rules, like house rules or whatever you expect for them, but you can't manage them all the same because they're all different. You know what I mean? So it was an earlier question that you had, and that was, how important is being involved? That's what it is. I mean, you got to be involved to understand like what type of children you have, what they like, what they don't like, what makes them tick, what doesn't make them tick, all those things. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's important as well.
Well, that comes with being intentional as well, like you said, like making sure that you're in tune with every single one of them. Dex, you were asking how it's important to love your kids, to your wife. For me, it's like the love is the same, but how intentional are you about building that relationship with your kid?
So we saying 4 is patience.
Patience.
And if I have to give a 5th one, it would be something we talked about earlier, time.
Yep.
Yes.
It would be spending time, making sure you spend time. Like we talked about carving out that time. That's one of the most important, making sure you find time for your kids, whether it's like this, whether it's in person, whether it's, you know what I mean? You don't have to be in the same place. Just make sure you let them know, like, yo, he's thinking about me. Like, even though my kids are grown, I randomly call, like, yo, what you doing? Like, Lil G, called him yesterday. All right, you still in LA? All right, what you doing? What's going on? Talk to me. Give me a few minutes to make sure I take out time. Like, if you need me, I'm here. Now, don't call me for no money. I said, don't call me for money. I'm taking out time. I want to hear you. Make sure you good. Like, you good? You know what I mean?
And
That's a
I
good
asked
one.
y'all this,
That's so good.
just to kind of continue that too. Do you think you guys became the fathers that you thought you were going to be?
Um, I'm still growing. I haven't gotten there yet. You know, and
Yes and
even
no for me.
yeah, even
You had to
even
put
when
a
I
belt to
still feel
somebody.
like
No, it's a yes and no because like Ty just said it best. You're still growing, and it's because having kids, it's this your whole time.
hmm
It's like a marriage. Your marriage is this. The same way your marriage have ups and downs, it could be minor changes and something could change, shift. We got to shift with it. So you have to be always ready to be able to pivot and move. That's how I see it with parenting. And sometimes you get it right, sometimes you get it wrong. Some things you like, I probably shouldn't have did that. Oh, I probably shouldn't have said that. Oh, I did that right. I did that good. But the big thing is if your kids can say the good outweigh the bad,
yeah,
that's when you got a good, when you know you good.
yeah,
Like, and Ty being a step up dad, not a stepdad, a step up dad. You stepped up, and I say this all the time: it take a hell of a man to raise another man's kids. Stepdads are the greatest to me in the whole wide world because you take another man's kids and love them as if they're your own. I, you the G in the group. You know what I mean? Because I grew up like that. My stepdad is my step up dad, and he's been married to my mom for 47 years. My biological father, I could count this many fingers how many times I saw him in my life before he passed away. Maybe it's like this, before he passed away. And even when he passed, when they called and say, "Hey, Big Gerald died," I'm like, "Oh, he did? Oh man, pray for his wife and his kids." Like, that's how I felt. You
Ain't
know what
that
I mean?
crazy?
Because I had a stepfather who stepped up and took the place, who taught me how to be a man, taught me how to pay bills. To this day, I can call my dad right now and ask him for anything, whether it's advice, whether it's, "Hey man, I'm about to go do so and so," and he'll be 84 in July. Still go strong. Call me, "Hey, I'm come stay? Come on." We talk. Our relationship is stronger now, and that's what I will say. The older we get, the stronger your relationship will get. Like everything I'm talking about, the whoopings and this means is nothing compared to my relationship now with my dad. We be like this on the phone. He cracks me. The stuff he be saying to me, and he's a preacher. The stuff he say to me, I'm like, man, people got to hold this conversation. It could be hilarious because he talk real to me now. You know what I mean? We talk real now. You know, within the last 20 years, we have real
Conversation.
conversation, man, conversation. So I think one of the most important things is knowing that being a father is like buckling your seatbelt up, like when you go to Disney World, Disneyland, or wherever you go, you put it on and be like, all right, I'm ready for the ride. What it's gonna be, what it's gonna be,
yeah,
and just go with it. And then also leaning and depending on your partner because we cannot negate what Ty just said. His wife, she gives him sound advice, like woo, 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 you might need to do this. Like, don't just whoop him. But when you don't go in there and love on them a little bit. Because the truth is, she could tell you, I got the secret. I just ain't gonna tell you. Because I want them to love on me all the time. But she give you some of the secret. Like the secret is whoop them, but then go over there and lay it across the bed and say, "Hey man, I ain't gonna have to whoop you. Like, come on, let's go get some ice cream. I love you. I love you.
That's a tough.
The proof is in the
That's a
pudding."
tough
yeah.
conversation to have with somebody, boy. Be like, hey, listen, I know I just put a foot in your, but guess what? I
Yeah.
had to do it.
Had to.
No, I think that's especially important for your bonus children. You know what I'm saying? To come back around and have those conversations because you are their step up dad. You know what I'm saying? So you don't want them to have a bad, taste in their mouth about you. So, you want to build those relationships, man. That's just important, man. Always I envy listening to y'all speak about y'all fathers. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I hope that because I didn't have that experience, you know what I'm saying? So I hope that that my children can have those experiences with me or of me. That's one of the things that I think a lot about is just legacy. Like when I am out of here, I want them to I want them first and foremost to be able to say, you know what I'm saying, my dad loved me. My dad was there. My dad did this. My dad, like I want that so bad, and that's how I live my life that way. You know what I mean? Like I lead with love when it comes to them. Like I I don't know, man. Like even when they make me the most upset, you know what I mean? Because like I said, I'm in some co-parenting situations where me and their mom don't get along at all. But I think that's even more of a reason why I gotta do more or put more of an effort in for them to know who I am and for us to kind of build our relationship apart from whatever their mother says about me, right? Like it's important for my children to see my relationship with Dax, my relationship with Ty, see how other people love and respect me, right? That's important because that all plays a part in, like you said, PG, how the lens that they see me through. You know what I mean? So all those things are just important to me, man. So I don't know. I love sitting back here and listening to y'all talk about the experiences you both had, or all three of you have had with your fathers. And I just hope that my kids can tell these stories to their people someday about me. You know what I mean? I just kind of found myself just thinking about that as you guys were speaking.
I believe they're gonna do it, Will.
Yeah.
I believe they will,
I hope
because
so.
the simple fact is, if you show up in any kind of aspect, I don't care if it's just on the phone, you showing up.
Yep.
Because
Yeah.
like I said, I didn't have my biological father in my life. Him and my mom were married until I think I was 2. Me and my brother was 1. They were married up to that point, then got a divorce. Then she married Clarence Haddon, because that's not even I took his name as a sign of respect to him when I was, I think me and my brother was 17 and 18.
Wow.
That was my gift to him. Changing my name at 17, 18. I was 18, I believe it was, maybe 19. I said, you know what? I want to legally change my name to Haddon. And even though if you went to church, you knew it was the Haddon kids. You went to school, you knew it was the Troop kids. So like Troop, because in school I was Troop up until high school. But after that, everybody knew me as Haddon if you went to both. So my thing was, out of respect, I told him, I said, Dad, changing my name to Haddon. He said, you are? I said, yeah. But he never showed me what a stepdad or he was just a dude he just was dad. I never called him Clarence. Every once in a while I do it now, like, hey, Clarence, messing with him. But he's always been dad. But my biological father was never there. He was never there. Drug dude, on drugs, did his music thing and was barely there. My mama said he was a great guy. She said it was amazing. She's like, but when he get to drinking, get that sauce in him, he go missing. So wouldn't see him for a long time. She's like, he'd be gone for 3 months, 4 months, and then come home like nothing ever happened. But then brought other kids home. I got brothers and sisters my same age in different, like if I'm 50, I got a sister that's 50 going on 51, 49, 47. My mom was like, oh yeah, he had a whole lot of kids on me. She's like, he had a whole lot
But
of kids.
PG, that sound like honestly, it sound like my father. I always say you get the emotions for somebody, you get the discipline for somebody, but it's never the same.
Yeah.
Whether it's a male or a female situation. I got a lot of the emotions from my mother, and then my father is more like, I think he smiled twice a year. That's it. But my father's a very even kill guy. He doesn't really get mad a lot. He doesn't get, sad a lot. So he just keeps it really, really even for the most part. But I could tell that a lot of the visual influences that I needed to see was how he was, he would raise me. You need to carry yourself this way. You need to talk to people this way. This is how you eat at a table. You go get a job, and you just see them. So you lead by the actions. So, society tends to put this thing on you to where fathers become like a visual reference, whereas if mothers get to play with you. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Coax you and have a good time. But how Will takes himself, how PG takes himself, if you look closely to some of your kids who, as they start growing up, be like, well, Dad put his hat this way, so I'm going to do my hat that way. Dad cuts his beard this way, so I'm going to cut my beard this way. You know what I'm saying? Dad tends to listen a lot. He don't say much, so I'm going to tend to nod like Todd right now and just listen a lot. You know what I'm saying? So I think that, from what I'm hearing from you guys, fathers tend to adjust to be almost like this putty thing. And everybody you encounter in the home, you have to kind of change and mold, see how they hear, adjust, and get information from them and put it back out in a way that's that it can be processed in a relationship.
That's
And
good.
and from you guys, man, I'm just so thankful for to have you guys, and in all these different experiences. There's no one way to do it. There's no
Yeah,
one way.
for sure.
So my last couple of questions I have for y'all. One, I asked you, did you become the father that you saw yourself becoming? When you first saw that first child, Ty, did you, the expectations you had for yourself, like, man, I'm gonna do this, that love. Were there expectations versus what you became at this point, or did you just went with the flow?
I just went with the flow, man. It was love
Me
at
too.
first sight, you know. And I don't think we ever reach this plateau of becoming the father that we want to become, because I feel like it's like any relationship. You never actually know who that person is. You're still constantly growing them, and that's how I want my relationship to be with my kids. Like, if they're 50 years old and Lord bless me to see, old age, I want them to still be able to come to me like, hey, Dad, I need some advice. So I'll never reach my peak because I'm always going to be dad. I'm always going to be there to help them, to guide them, protect them, no matter what.
And you got a gun. Got it.
With an S. You got to put the S on that.
Right, right. Guns, right. Plural.
Plural.
Guns. Like,
Plural,
yeah,
right.
that's cool, but hey, player, we can go ahead and end this right now. So yeah.
Right.
Well, was there any kind of perspective for you, in what you thought when you first saw your first child and what you wanted to be, based upon what you had gone through?
Man, I was so young, bro. Like, I was 19 when I had my son, so I didn't have enough time to think about like what kind of father I thought I was gonna be or none of that. I just, again, just based off my experiences, I knew what I didn't want to be, and that's kind of what led me throughout the years in terms of who I ultimately ended up being as a father. You know what I'm saying? I know I never liked. I always. I don't buy into the societal views on black men as fathers.
Mm.
So I always wanted to kind of change that narrative. And I wanted to change the narrative on what we how we're looked at as husbands. You know what I'm saying? So that was another part of it. Um, Obviously, I have the opportunity this time around to be able to raise my daughter in the same under the same roof with her mom. So I could tell you that experience has been very different from the experience that I had with my other three children. Um, but I'm also older and wiser, you know what I mean? So, it's I'm just trying to grow every day, man, and just be, the best, not only the best father I could be, but just the best man I could be every day. You know what I'm saying? And that's important to me. So
How about you, PG?
I think he answered the best. None of us, there was never a rule. I didn't see a book that showed me how to be a father. There was never a book. All we did was took what we saw, and then I just jumped. Same as Will. I was young. I was wrestling my wife at the time. She wasn't my wife, my girlfriend. I was wrestling, and then we looked up. We pregnant. You know what I'm saying?
I was
So
wrestling.
we was wrestling.
He
My
said,
kid,
I
how did we
like
get?
that. We were
We was
wrestling.
wrestling. Your mom was wrestling. And look up, he got no.
Right.
Like,
Who
I'm gonna
won?
use
got a
that
couple.
one.
I want you hear right.
Oh.
But no, we was wrestling one day, and then all of a sudden, I'm a father. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, I think being y'all both said it best. I think being the best, knowing like I want to make sure they can always look back and say, "Dad was there for me
Yeah.
in any kind of way." I always wanted to make sure that was the most important because, like you said, not having your father say, "I'm gonna make sure I step up. I'm not gonna be a man that got 4 or 5 kids. I don't want to have 4 or 5 kids by other women." When I finally got married, I even told my wife one day when we got married, I said, "Now there might be a little girl, a little boy come up saying that they this age, nobody can say they the age of our marriage." Now, if somebody show up like right now, we've been married 24 years. If a baby come up now, she's gonna be like, "I'm 25, 26. It could be mine."
I was wrestling.
But listen, I used to wrestle then. But I
I was a
ain't wrestled
professional.
in this 24 years. I ain't wrestled with nobody. Okay,
I
no
was a
24-year-old,
professional
22,
for you.
19-year-old say that's mine. But I always wanted to be that guy. I didn't because that's how my father was and he had other kids outside, I said, no, I don't want to be that dude. I don't want to be that dude. And the enemy actually tried to make it creep up on me the first couple of years of my marriage, though. Try to be like my biological father. I literally had to say, I had to actually tell myself, no, stop. Because if you don't have some kind of self-control or people you can talk to,
Yeah, for sure.
or don't have nobody you can like, I got to be 100 with you. The girl down the street with the big booty, she keep throwing it at me. Nigga, go home.
Right.
Sorry for using it. Don't do that. Because when I look back, because when you look back, if y'all ever looked back and saw some of the girls y'all mess with that could have been potential baby mamas, I had. I'm like,
hey, PG, we was just talking about this before we even started the pod.
Yeah,
we was just talking about this. I told Dax, I said, bro, like, I don't know where the direction of this is gonna go, but we kind of need to start right there, though. Just the irresponsible nature of us, right?
Yeah.
How we lay down and wrestle and not think about the future, right? The long-term effects of all this. Because at the end of the day, that does impact like how we ultimately end up being fathers.
Mm-hmm.
True. Right? And the type of fathers that we end up being, right? Because I mean, when we wrestling with somebody we don't necessarily know or don't really care about, we can't be mad about the fact that they won't allow us to be the fathers that, you know what I'm saying, that we want to be to our children.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and that's just a fact. So that's a great thing that you just brought up, bro.
Facts, man.
That is Ty, what you think about that though?
Say that
again. What
do
you think about that? I wanted to, because you got up in that conversation with me and Will were talking about it.
No, I agree. I'm gonna leave it right there.
Hey,
I'm gonna leave it right there.
We should pull up photos of the last 4 girls we dated before marriage. And like,
well, ladies and gentlemen, hey, you heard it from the 7-time pro wrestling champion, WWE 4-time Tyrone. Undefeated until he retired.
Undefeated champion.
It's a safe space, but not that safe.
Right, it ain't that safe.
Hey, Ty, what'd you say? I agree.
I agree.
I agree.
That's all I got. 3 times, he ain't going inside yet.
Right.
So, yeah, man. So, closing things up and kind of looking to kind of close things up. I have one question for y'all on the other side, man. Y'all giving so much good information tonight. But so let's turn it back on me. I'm not there yet. Right? But it's interesting to see that you guys have taken so many different perspectives on it and each of you guys had to have been like a rubber band in your relationships for everything. Some things you go all the way out and you got to retract all the way back in. But there's no such thing as just like a hard way to do it. There's no one way. So I ask y'all this, man. So one, what type of father do you think Dax would be? Based upon what you know about me. Tyrone already said, I abandoned my kids maybe every Wednesday, be like, hey, y'all on your own, player. I can't do this.
I would say this. I would say that you have enough resources around you to be an excellent father.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
So there's no excuse for you to be a shitty dad.
Yeah.
It's just not. You know what I mean? Like, you have all the resources, you have the people around you. So from that perspective, I think you'll be an excellent father.
I'll take it.
Yeah. Wow. You got the foundation. You got to, I'm going to bounce right off of what Will said. You got a tribe of people around you already, and that's what's helped me. I have a tribe of people around me to support me, and I have an amazing wife that even gives me more support. So use that tribe of people that you can 100% lean on, the Wills, the Ties, the PGs, when you need support, because that's going to help you get through.
I would say, be the father you always wanted.
Man.
Try your best to be the father you always wanted. So it was something, if your father, where you saw the positive of your father, take that. Where you saw the negatives, turn it into positives.
I guess
that's what I would say.
That's what you meant by pretty much take what I left and make it your own. Is that right, fellas? Yeah, you can't really do it. You can't mimic it all the way.
Yeah.
Nah, man, just lead with love, bro. Lead with love. That would be my best advice. Lead with love, man.
Lead with love.
Yep. Always.
And always lean on your father. Like I said, your father, you know what you didn't like and what you did like. I'm like, all right, we're gonna change it up. We're gonna fix it up here. If the whoopings was too harsh or if the discipline was too harsh, all right, I'm gonna ease the discipline down in this area, but I'm gonna raise it up in this area. Because one of the areas I feel like I failed in, if I have to give my failure, because you asked that, one of my failures, I feel like because me and my wife, we discipline different. I come from a whooping background, she come from no whooping background. And so our discipline area, I'll be like, you know what, I'm just gonna take my hand off of it. You got it. I felt we should have lined our expectations up. This is the expectations. If you don't meet the expectation, this is the consequence. Whether it don't have to always be whoopings. It can be as simple as like now with kids, you take their phone, you take this, you know,
away.
Oh my God, not my iPad. Oh, not my iPad.
Life over with. You hear me?
My nephew cried the other day because his dad said, if you don't find your charger, you're not using his iPad for a week. Do you know? My nephew was like, you okay? He's like, I gotta find the charger. The next morning he called over there and said, I found the charger. Because his world was the iPad. Mm-hmm. It's a week without the iPad, my life is over. So now, you know, and I realized we didn't have to whoop as much. And whooping, not to change the subject, but whooping was an act of slavery. And that's what they did to slaves. So what happened was we took what they done to slavery, they beat our ancestors, and they brought it down to us, and our parents just copied it. And then we copied it. So did there have to be a change in that area of discipline? There should always be discipline, but you should know how your kids, some kids don't even need whoopings. Some kids, you can say, hey, what did you just do? I'm sorry.
You could look at them.
You can just look at them wrong. Like, I'm sorry.
That's how your father did it, Ty.
You know, I didn't get whoopings growing up unless I was super, super bad. My dad was the type, oh, you gonna act up? Okay, go in that corner, put that dictionary in your head. Stand in the corner. You gonna
to me, that's worse than whoopings.
Yeah.
I'm like, just whoop me.
Or go read a book.
I ain't trying to read nothing today.
Yeah.
If you say you hold the book on your head, right, like this,
and it was like a thick book.
Yeah.
Hold the book on your head, and while everybody else eating and watching TV, you're gonna wait since you want to cut up.
That's it.
Hey, Ty, I got a good one for you, bro. Make them do the stand on the wall and squat and hold 2 thumbs out in front of them.
I don't did plenty of those.
I hated that.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Shoot. Oh man. But I'll tell you guys, man, that's good information, man. Thank you guys so much, man. Like, it's always good to sit down and get on the show, you know what I'm saying, get some feedback from guys. Great group of guys who've kind of been through this thing. Fatherhood, we all know, is tough on everybody, you know, but like you said, it's the best and the most rewarding thing as a man, I think, that you can get at the end of the day. And once you have the opportunity to leave a legacy, I think the fruit of your labor, for the most part, feels like it wasn't left on deaf ears. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, and just like anything else in life, right? You're gonna get out of it whatever you put into it. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just how I feel about it. So, you know, be very intentional about, you know, helping your wife and being involved and getting in there. You know what I'm saying? Because that relationship should matter as much to you as it does to the child. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So in closing, guys, what would you, the last thing, you know, what's the just last closing couple of words? What advice would you give, you know, fathers out there so we can close it up?
Lead and guide with love.
Yeah, Todd took mine. I was going to say lead with love. Lead with love and be responsible about, you know what I'm saying, who you are potentially laying down with and having children with.
Yep.
Like, that's the best advice that's what I tell my son.
Right. You can end it right there.
Don't wrestle everybody.
You can't wrestle everybody,
bro.
You can't wrestle with everybody.
All right, guys. Thank you guys so much, man, for this, man. This was real good, man. I appreciate you guys taking the time to kind of share this. You know, Father's Day is coming up. You know, we definitely want to make sure that we get what we want. I hope y'all thinking about what y'all want. I hope y'all got your wallets handy, because it's going to be a whole bunch of, hey, you've been a good dad. You want to go eat? You paying. You know how the drill goes. You know what I'm saying? So it never changes. But thank you guys so much, man, for sharing.
Hey, Dax, I'm sorry. I send cash apps to my kids for Father's Day.
That's what you do?
Absolutely. I got a shirt I started wearing today. I'm the world's greatest dad. I got a sweatshirt up there I wear like Father's Day, like getting ready for Father's Day for me is a big thing because I know I've been a heck of a dad. You know what I'm saying? I send cash apps. I be sending all kinds of stuff. I be like I send them pictures. You know how they do a whole sheet with the stuff women do, the things they want. I do the same thing. I be like, these shoes, you got me these jeans. If your budget is high, Jordans. If your budget is low, you give me a pair of jeans, H&M t-shirt, anything can work for me. Just here's my list.
That's your list.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna try that.
Hey man,
I'm telling you.
Hey, it's a day for you to ask what for what you want, and take advantage of it because you guys know we don't get a lot of days. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we're givers. Is what we're seeing. We kind of got that job without applications. Ain't none of us fill it out, but we got the job.
Right.
So, but then again, thank you guys so much for taking the time for doing this, man. And we're gonna do so many more. Just sharing the knowledge from the show was amazing, and having you guys on. So, final closing words, Ty. You got anything, for our audience out there?
I'm extremely thankful for you guys coming on. Before we roll out, Big Will, PG, give us your handles so people can reach out to you guys as well.
Instagram, Big Will 78. That's where I'm at.
All platforms, just Gerald Haddon, and that's Gerald.
I love it, and I love having you guys on. We're always going to continue the conversation, so make sure you guys, as always, tune in. Make sure you go to our Facebook page, IG, YouTube, like, share, comment, and show some love out there.
All right. Thank you guys, man. And until next time, this is Safe Space podcast where people can just put it out there for what it is. We're out, y'all.
Thank you for tuning into this week's episode. Please be sure to like, share, and comment on all of our social media platforms.